Welcome back to Akima Academy. Today we are looking at the question 1B of the 2021 Novdec. Okay, last time we looked at the A part, which was the sequence and series. Today we are looking at the B part. Now the B, if you look at the question is very long. So you have generated some excerpt of the questions over here, which we are going to use. But the main question is on our page on Telegram. So you can follow the link under the video or the link under the comment section and join the Telegram page, okay, to have access to the entire question. So the question 1B of the 2021 Novdec. If you look at that particular question, it's a word problem, okay? It's a word problem. And the question was, they said the student had P amount, okay, P CDs, okay, and with this amount, he spent 1/3 on books, okay, he spent 1/3 on books from the P amount. Then, after spending 1/3 on books, he also spent 3/5 of the remainder, okay, 3/5 of the remainder on snacks. Okay, good. Then after spending 3/5 on snacks, he had the student had 400 CDs left. Okay, the student had 400 CDs left. Now the question is, they said find the value of P. Okay, find the value of P. This is a word problem, and the fractions over here, which has been indicated, represent certain amount, okay? They represent certain amount. Now, for instance, if you have, let's say we have 15 CDs. 15 CDs is what we have. And we are to find 1/3 of 15 CDs. Then you could see that 1/3 of the 15 CDs, so 1/3 of 15, 1/3 of, so the off over there represent multiplication. It's another name for multiplication. So 1/3 of 15 CDs. So 1 out of 3 times 15. Then we are going to have 5 CDs. I've seen it. So 1/3 of the 15 CDs becomes 5 CDs. Good. So in this case, the 1/3 of the 15 CDs is 5 CDs. But what will be the remaining of the money? How do we get the remainder? Then for we to get the remainder of the money, we have to take the 5 CDs that we got. Then we subtract it from the actual money, which is the 15 CDs. Okay? So when you subtract the 5 CDs from the 15, then you get your 10 CDs as your balance. Okay? So this is the principle or the knowledge about these word problems, especially when it involves fractions. Okay, so the fractions over here represent certain amounts, which we don't know. Now the total amount has been given as P. So here, because we don't know P, or we don't know the actual amount over here, then we have to use the same principle, just like what I was saying, okay, so that we can generate the fraction for the remaining money. Okay, so you can see there are fractions over here. So the fraction for the remaining money is what we have to look for. So that we know that 1 out of 3 of 15 CDs equals 5 CDs. So meaning the 1 out of 3 is equals to 5 CDs of the 15 CDs. So when we get the remaining fraction, then we can equate it to the value over here. I've seen it. Good. So that's exactly what we have to do. And this is the procedure to use when we get similar questions on word problems involving fractions and involving fractions. Okay, so let's look at it over here. So we have the actual money is P CDs, okay, P Ghana CDs. So they said he spent 1/3 on books. So if the student spend 1/3 on books, then it means we have to find 1/3 of the money. Okay, just like we did for the 15 CDs. 1/3 of 15 CDs should give us 5 CDs. So 1/3 of 1/3 of, and the of over here represent multiplication. So 1/3 of P, which is the total amount. Okay, so 1/3 of P should give us P out of 3. P out of 3. This is 1/3 of P. P out of 3. So this is the money that the student spent on books. So how do we get the remaining money? We have to find the remaining money, because this is the money the student spent on books. So what we do is we take the actual amount, which is P. The actual amount was P, minus the money he spent on books. Okay, so that we can get the remaining money, which is we have P out of 3. Okay, so at this point we have a mixed fraction over here. So 3 times P minus P, all out of 3. Okay, so we have or if you like, you can use the traditional method, divide here by 1, find the LCM, then you move in that manner. So we have 3 times P. Okay, so we have 3P minus P out of 3. Okay, minus P out of 3. So we can do the subtraction here so that we can have the remaining money, which is 2P out of 3. So this is the remaining money, or the fraction of the remaining money. Let me put it in that way. So he spent P out of 3 on books. P out of 3 on books. So what was the remaining money, or what was the fraction of the remaining money? So the fraction of the remaining money is 2P out of 3. This is the remaining money. So this is the money that we are going to deal with, the fraction of the money that we are going to deal with. Now the question follows and said, continues and said, he also spent 3/5 of the remainder. So out of the remainder, this is the remainder. So out of the remainder, he spent 3/5 of the remainder on snacks. Okay, he spent 3/5 of the remainder on snacks. So this is the remaining money. So with this money, he spent 3/5 of it. So we come here, let's find the 3/5 of the remainder over here. So we have 3 out of 5, 3/5 of its multiplication. 3/5 of the remainder, so 3/5 of multiplication. Then we have 2P out of 3. Okay, so 3/5 of the remainder. So this is the fraction for the remainder, the remaining money. So 3/5 of it. And what do we have? So we do our multiplication over here. We have 6P. 3 times 2, we have 6P over here. Out of here, we have 15. So let's look at it over here. So he spent 3/5 of the remainder, which is 2P out of 3. Okay, so 3/5 of the remainder is 6P out of 15. 3/5 of the remainder is 6P out of 15. So the remainder over 3/5 on the snacks. So this is the fraction of the money the gentleman or the student use on snacks. Okay, this is the fraction of the money the student used on snacks. Okay, so with this one, this is the one he used. So meaning that we have to find the remaining money. So after using this fraction on snacks, what amount was left after using this fraction on snacks? Okay, so if you look at it, here we have here you can see this was the remaining money after the gentleman or the student spent P out of 3 on books. This was the remainder, the remaining fraction. Okay, so out of this fraction, he also spent 3/5 of the remainder on snacks. So the 3/5 of the remainder gave us 6P out of 15. So this is the amount or the fraction of the amount of money the gentleman or the student used on snacks. Okay, so now we have to find the remaining fraction. So then we come to, we have 2p, which was the actual money which was left. 2p out of 3. Okay, so with this, the money which was left over here minus the money he spent, or the fraction of the money the student spent on snacks. So we have 6p out of 15 over here. You have to do the subtraction over here. Okay, so here you can have your LCM, which is 15. Okay, so 3 will enter into 15. 3 will enter into 15 5 times. So 5 times 2 will give us 10p. Okay, 10p minus 6p. Okay, minus 6p over here. Everything out of 15, which is the LCM. Okay, so here if you find the LCM will be 15. Okay, so 3 will enter into the 15 5 times. 5 times 2. Okay, then we have 10p. Okay, so 15 here. 50 will enter into the LCM. 15 1 times 6p will give us 6p. Then we can do the subtraction over here and get our remaining fraction, and the remaining fraction will give us 4p out of 15. 4p out of 15. So this is the remaining fraction. This is the remaining fraction of the money. So the remaining fraction of the money. Now then the question continues and said, if 400 cedis was left, if 400 cedis was left, so after the deduction of the fraction of or after the deduction of the money he spent on books and the money he spent on snacks, this is the remainder fraction. And they said this fraction, the remainder over here, okay, the remaining fraction over here is equal to this amount. This was the amount of the fraction which was left. I hope you get that. This was the amount, okay, amount of the fraction of the money which was left. So if this is our remaining fraction, then it means that this fraction is equal to the money which was left. Okay, I hope you can see that. So this is the remaining fraction. If this is the remaining fraction over here, then this remaining fraction is equal to the amount of money which was left, which is 400 cedis. So the remaining fraction over here is equal to, okay, 400 cedis. Then we can do the calculation over here and have our p. So you can see that you do cross multiplication. So 15 times 4, 400, but just put the zeros aside. 15 times 4 will give us 60. Okay, then you add the 2 zeros to it and then you move on. So we have 4p here. Okay, 4p times 1. There's 1 here. So 4p times 1 will give us 4p equals 15 times 400. So 15 times 4 will give us 60. Then you add the 2 zeros. Okay, then we have 6,000 here. Okay, so we divide both sides by 4. Here by 4. Okay, then 4 cancel 4 off. Then our p equals, so we are dividing 6,000 by 4. So 60 divided by 4 give us 15, right? So we have 15. Then we add our 2 zeros, 1,500. So we are going to have, therefore our p is going to be, okay, 1,500. Okay, 1,500 cedis. So meaning that this was the actual amount that the student was having. Okay, this was the actual amount. The student was having 1,500 Ghana cedis. Then he spent 1/3 of it on books. Then he spent 3/5 of the remainder on snacks. Then it was left with 400 cedis on the student. Okay, so this is the amount the student was having. So the student was having 1,500 Ghana cedis. I hope this one is clear. So the fraction that they will give to you, You find a fraction, subtract it from the main money. The remainder is what you will be dealing with. Okay, the remainder is what you'll be dealing with. Then after that, if there's another fraction, you find the fraction, subtract it from the remainder that you got previously, until you get to what? The money which was left, the fraction of the money which was left. Then you equate it to the money and find the value of the actual money the students was having. Okay, so this is the procedure, and just go through it and get similar questions and try your hands on them. Okay, because most of the times these are the petty principles that will lead you to solve these particular problems. Okay, so we have the link under the video. You can join our Telegram channel, or if you have any problem or any challenges, don't hesitate to comment at the comment section, or you can bring it to our Telegram channel so that we can address it for you. Okay, don't forget to subscribe and share it to your family and friends. Take care. Bye bye.